I think Tommy Fleetwood is on to something. When I went to Tim to go work on my irons, he asked me to do a very simple task.
What if I said for the next 5 shots,
Yep.
hit them as pure as you can?
However, I just could not execute it. The most important thing that I learned from this lesson, and I think it will take a bit of rewiring, is that better contact, middle of the face contact, trumps higher swing speed in regards to distance. You can swing a lot slower, but if you make better contact, the ball will go just as far and it'll be a lot more consistent. And you'll see in this lesson, I was able to achieve that with a Tommy Fleetwood-like swing. And Tim also noticed something with my right hand, which caused me to shank the ball.
Can you take your right hand off the club just for a second and just hold the club up with your left hand?
I went from not being able to hit the ball consistently to at the end being able to flush iron shots. You'll see me struggle along the way, but then you'll see how I overcome this, and you'll see that in just a 1-hour session, you can completely change your ball striking abilities. And guys, if you're new here, my name is Chunger. I'm an average golfer with the goal of trying to get to scratch. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and follow along on this journey with me as I document my progress along the way, share my weekly lessons, talk about different gear and gadgets that help me improve, and much more. So with that being said, let's dive into this iron lesson.
It's pretty good. The divots are starting to even out a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like I'm making better contact with the ground.
Mm-hmm. There's an interesting experiment that can only really happen on grass. But really what we're asking is, you're trying to land the club in the grass, right? And you're trying to land it and remove an even piece of turf. We know what a good divot looks like. We know it's about the width of your golf club. Starts pretty sharp, toe to heel. So it starts square, it kind of ends square. If you're coming through and you get to exit this thing kind of up that line, the divot has a really good divot at this time of year has a unique look to it. It's very sharp and square. So if your divots are rounded or thin or exiting in different directions, you should try to alter the divot shape. So the interesting experiment is on grass, can you create a perfect divot? Not hitting a golf ball, but can you just remove a piece of grass exactly the way that you want? When you do it, is it always toe in the ground a little bit? Is it heel? Does it have anything to do with the lie angle of your club? Does it make it easier with steeper or shallower lie angles? This is kind of what we're looking for is, like, we're not just looking to hit the ball, we're also looking to kind of land this plane in the ground, so to speak. So take a couple of practice swings and try to remove a little piece of ground, kind of the way that you want, in the direction that you want, what you would kind of imagine for a divot.
Okay.
Right? And then just try to take 1 inch off of that divot again. So you can just work your way back really slowly, but notice how you can see the shape of your club here. If you look closely, you can see that the face was open right here, and it closed to create that shape going through. It's deeper and flatter in the toe, so the toe went out and kind of wiped across this to create that shape. You want to get your leading edge and your heel squarer earlier into that sequence. So you want to try to remove just that little piece of grass in that same space right there.
Okay. So I want to feel like I'm closing the face.
I think so,
sooner.
right? It certainly looks like it's closing kind of late in the golf swing.
Yeah, that's some of the things I think it just pushes out right, and I think that's probably what happens when I just leave it open, right?
I would say that the players that I have that struggle the most with ball striking inconsistency is when they are players who rely on kind of the timing of the face closure during the dynamic sequence. So if you have a player who's trying to time the release of that face and then get a little out of whack somewhere else, it's really hard to figure out where this thing is. Usually the players that really keep their club face maybe too square to where they're swinging, which means they don't separate for a lot of speed, but their direction is like flawless. You think of like some of the players you might play with that maybe don't have the best moves. They don't really move their wrists, but they just sort of bunt the golf ball in the same direction. That's kind of what we're after. So try to make a couple of divots here that feel like the heel and the toe are kind of meeting the ground at the same time. You're kind of presenting both of them to the back of the divot. Yeah, I would say when you're doing this drill, try to make it like full speed, like how fast you would swing your pitching wedge. It's pretty good.
That's a bit more narrow.
Yeah. It's okay. Not bad. See it again. Good. Perfect divot. Not bad. I'm going to show you the swing previously, just so you can kind of see, like, if we keep going with this divot pattern, I bet you this divot pattern starts to go a little bit more inside. That last divot was not so bad, though. This was that last divot. Because I think you went and hit the ball from over there. Okay, so a little inside.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just a little. Not tragic, but a little inside. That gets you inside a little late in the swing. Now you're in the ground a little early. Now you got to roll it a little bit to go through. So that just that early landing from like your club head, just a little bit behind you, which is closer to the ground, and then now landing and rotating. That's like the skinny turnover divot. You can almost see the direction that dirt is shooting up in the air, shooting up that way.
Yeah.
The last shot you hit started a little right and then had that kind of like push vibe to it.
Yeah.
So we want your club head, especially with these shorter ones, to be a little bit steeper in the swing, later in the swing, like in the downswing. Yeah. Yeah, great.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize I was actually still pretty inside.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what happens if we change one thing, but we don't change other things? Kind of that, maybe. Steepen the club path, but you're running the hosel into it. Like you were able to hit the golf ball pretty solid by being a little shallow underneath and kind of rolling the face over. Now I ask you to take the club and put it more in front of you later in the swing, which I think you did, but we didn't change anything else. So then now the club is just gonna meet the golf ball maybe closer to the heel or the hosel. It's more in front of it. So we still have to then make that adjustment just in like spacing, I think.
So that's where I just have to clear my hip more then?
It's kind of counterintuitive, but the further you are from the golf ball, the more you'd have to reach to throw your club head onto plane.
Yep.
The closer you are to it, the easier it is for that club head to fall under plane and swing out to the right or away from us. So you might want to feel like it's a bit of a reach for you to kind of get like these shorter irons, the squeeze on the golf ball that you want, feeling like you can extend your arms.
And is that something that I do in setup, or is that something
setup.
I do dynamic setup?
Yeah,
Okay.
setup. Feel like you just give yourself a little bit of space, knowing full well that you're going to try to like throw down on top of this golf ball a bit more. Good, nice divot here. Certainly started closer to the line that we wanted.
Yeah, but the
Divot was a little squirrely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like I'm standing so far away.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can get a little closer if you want, but we're trying to really kind of throw that thing, yeah, down on it. Great. What if I said for the next 5 shots,
Yep.
hit them as pure as you can?
Okay.
Okay?
Just like try to make the best contact?
Best contact.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't mean you can't change. You can do the same things in your routine to get you ready to hit your shot, but try for the absolute best contact on 5 shots in a row. Same target, same idea, but change it to your contact being the caveat. 4 more. Where would you put that on a scale of 1 to 10? Contact.
I'd say maybe like a 7.
Okay. Okay. Say it again. Room for improvement.
I think I made better turf interaction, but I would say maybe I was a bit behind it, or it felt a little chunky.
Yeah, a little clunky for sure. The sound of it as well. Didn't have that like really, really sharp sound. Remember your target that you're aiming at. Yeah. Three out of 10.
That felt the heel.
2, 2, 3.
That's not good.
At any point, are you thinking about easing up to just appease the goal, which is contact? Would you think about swinging? Would an easier swing make it easier for you to hit really pure contact? Because I think this is part of it. Is you can't always just work on the mechanics of a golf swing. Can't always just work on the pieces. At some point, you do have to chase, and this is mostly for like really good play. You have to think about, okay, I'm going to trust the fact that my alignment at this point is going to be close enough. But the majority of the mistakes that you're going to make on a golf course in full swing facets are mishit errors, are not hitting the golf ball as close to what you anticipate the center and driving it in there. So the challenge is, out of those 5 golf balls, are 5 out of 5 like less than great, or are they like okay? And this is kind of, we want to just chase this idea that the main goal is always the cleanest strike possible. So I really want you to feel like you're focused there, whether you shrink up the swing, whether you move a little less around to hit a golf ball, whatever it is, we're chasing that like really clean strike on the golf ball. Not quite. Where do you think that is? A little in the heel still?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with pretty much everything up until like a, let's just say 6 iron, I think we could hit it like half a golf swing and really hit it solid. Like backswing to impact and really just stopping at impact, not even worrying about the follow through, but really just sort of bracing for that like collision, preparing for that collision a bit better. Okay. So I want you to really just kind of draw your attention to just the hit. Don't worry about the follow through. Based on everything I've seen so far, this is what I'm guessing. So I think by the time you get to the top of your swing, you're really rotating over here, getting a little bit trapped, and then that club is kind of coming through as it works in there. I think you could hit this really solid if we just kept this more square to your target for a little bit longer. So I want you to stack up all your weight on this left side, aim a little bit to the right, put the ball a little bit further back in your stance, and I want you to really just drop on the back of the golf ball. Like really simple little mechanics, not a huge follow through, but trying to just get this literally just dropping on the back of the ball without a lot of manipulation. So my weight stays forward, and I'm able to just sort of drop it on the back of the ball and push it out to the right a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that gives us a little sharper contact. Do you know what the lie angle is of these? They're up, aren't they?
They're 2 up.
Right. That's why it feels like I can stand really tall over top of this thing. So we want just a little hold off swing. I think that's kind of an idea of us getting some depth in your hit, not just like down and then back up out of there, but actually starting to root down into this. So I want you to really lean into ahead of the golf ball. lean in, close up the stance, point the shoulders a little bit to the right, put the ball way back in your stance. Good. Simple little like 3/4 turn and then drop it right back on the golf ball. Head stays in the same spot. Okay, that's the best contact we've come up with by far.
Yeah.
That little swing right there, just where we're off. TrackMan, where are you? Where are you? That little swing though produced almost the same amount of distance as what you came up with on like the full swing, where sometimes you might miss hit it a little bit. I just need to back it. Good, head stays right where it is. Bang. So that's a lot of arm swing in the follow through. For your hands to finish up all the way over here,
Yeah.
we want to end here. And then maybe it releases a little bit.
Actually, that's one thing that
Yeah.
I've noticed before, and sometimes when I view my swing is it feels like I'm wrapping around
Yes.
my body a lot.
Yeah.
And so that just is due to my arms kind of doing too much, or?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. It's just, let's call it separation, so arms from torso. So when you take this up in the backswing and we're looking at where this club head kind of gets to, where it's really shallow, the other thing we want to look at is, where are you here? You're probably already around the corner a little bit as you turn. Then as you come through, the arms kind of get a little bunched up, and then it's like my body's already sort of done my turn in the follow through. From this setup, what we want, and I said this is like all the way up to 6-iron, is I want to feel like I'm hitting it more like this, like hitting against, not towards or opening up to my target. I don't need to do that as much. I want to feel like I'm just taking the club and I'm slamming it on the back of the golf ball to launch it in the direction that I want. That's every wedge that you're going to hit is way more like that. It's less of something that has to go this way to open up in the follow through. It's too long for me to try to hold that club face square. I just need to take this thing and kind of jam it into the ground behind the golf ball. So I want to stay really closed off on it. Yeah, that's it. So your head stays in a very similar position. If it goes anywhere, your head, it can go that way. It can't go that way. We don't want to get closer to the ground anywhere with this maneuver. We're trying to feel like we make a little bit of space in your exit. So your backswing is really important because you need to make and acquire a lot of rotation so that the inside version of your path is available to you. So it's not your hands kind of running over your body.
So I have to feel more
So feel more, yeah.
depth in my terms
That's right.
so I can...
Yeah, meet that inside corner of the golf ball. So it's like spend all your energy in your backswing, do not give it away in your follow through. Right, so now you just stack up right on top of it. Good, right down on the back of the golf ball. Smooth. Good, yeah, great. Okay, 68 miles an hour of club head, 68.5 miles an hour of club head speed, 90 ball speed, 112 carry, 118 total. And 112. So we need like 3 more miles an hour of club head speed, and we're gonna hit it the same distance. Now it's gonna come out low,
Yeah.
spinny, kind of cool for this shot. We can make adaptations to get some height and more release in the freedom, but I want you to like, we're like half a golf swing, backswing to impact. That's it, and not a lot of moving pieces in here.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, too much of a
movement.
follow through,
Yeah.
right?
Because I think a cue is I have to think about just almost just to here, because sometimes
That's
then
it.
I'll just take
Yeah.
it too far around,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it can be a longer wind up, a smoother wind up in the backswing, but you are done at the golf ball. Right, you're trying to like finish it right there on the back of that golf ball. There, much better. Much better. Okay, I'm curious about that one. That was hit pretty nice. 69 miles an hour. 89 ball speed, so 90 ball speed again. 112 carry, 120 total. How much more do we need before we can get you to like 125?
Yeah.
Not much more. Maybe a little bit more backswing and a bit more of an abrupt hit on the golf ball. Good. Just try to keep pushing that thing to the right a little bit. Arms just pulled across you.
Pushing to the right as far as...
So feeling like I'm hitting that golf ball and driving that golf ball to the right of my target.
Okay.
Because if we're hitting down on it like that, that's it's going to draw a little bit more of a draw into the flight.
Okay.
120 carry on that last one, 130 total. Okay, so lining up that face to kind of like, yeah. Great. Really great. Great strike on the golf ball. Love that one.
It feels, because I know we're now trying to swing more right, it almost feels, I guess, a bit scary for me, because since I know that the push usually comes if I'm aiming more right,
Yeah.
then I'm almost worried that...
What does the push come from? More than anything?
Open face?
Face.
Yeah.
So if we hold the face,
Yeah.
if we're in charge of the face, and we're taking that face, have you ever seen that, the ballistic driver where they put 2 shotgun shells in the back of it? You ever seen this before? So there's Bill Murray used it at the AT&T Pro-Am a couple times, but it's a driver, it looks like a normal driver, but there's these 2 shotgun shells that load into the back of it, and it fires a face plate out a little bit, but it fires it at like high speed. So, and there's a button on the shaft. So you just stand there, you put the driver behind the golf ball, you press this button, and this thing fires out really quickly, and it hits the golf ball. And it sends it like 275 yards. And
Oh, wow.
it's a loud bang that goes off, but it just launches this golf ball straight into the atmosphere. That's really what we're doing, is we're trying to get this thing to just do this on the ball. And we're trying to swing it in a fashion that it's not like really opening and trying to close and trying to release it, and sometimes it's open and sometimes it's hooking. We're really just trying to swing this thing so that it slams into the back of the golf ball. So because of that, I think we want the direction loaded for us, knowing that we're gonna like kind of push this a bit more to the right. We're not opening the door for like sometimes a pull, sometimes a slice. These are just really sharp, controlled pinches on the golf ball. I think we can take this up your bag into like a 8-iron, maybe 7-iron, right? Where we just kind of stay in that position, head stays where it is, and we just pump down on the back of the golf ball. That's right.
Too much of a follow through?
Yeah, I think so. They're just, when you hit the hosel and you're not set up off the hosel, it means that you're probably in a position where you're kind of like contracted over top of it, where you've fell into that space that's occupied where your club should occupy. You want to feel like, my sensation is that yes, I'm hitting down on something, but I'm also relieving some space out of there. So if I push myself up as I go through, then it's not a spin for me in the follow through. It feels like, okay, that's the end of it. I'm done with it right there.
More like that?
Yeah,
Or...
exactly. Right? So we're just braking hard right there to stop on this golf ball. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing you're responsible for is hitting the ball before anything else. And it's sitting right there and you're loaded up for it.
Am I still thinking ball more back still?
Yep,
or...
a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of tighten up your lines. You're holding this golf ball pretty straight. It's not hooking very much. So you can really kind of imagine a pretty straight line coming out of here.
So not necessarily have to close off as much as I...
Not as much.
Okay.
Especially if it's starting to give you a little bit of difficulty with like the nowhere to exit.
Okay.
So not open ever, but definitely not as closed. Good, yeah, head stays back. I have your 9-iron in my hands. I'm just gonna stand here and hit a couple. So that's you can see this divot,
Yeah.
like down that toe into the ground there. So I just want to keep my foot pretty even. I'm sitting into it back here like this. Keep my arms are long at address to start this thing. Got it back a little bit in my stance. I'm gonna live on like toe misses more than heel strikes. Let's just end right at the ball. So hopefully it looks like not a lot of moving pieces. I would imagine my head looks like it's not moving at all. It's kind of staying in its frame. Everything else is kind of moving around it. That should give me a pretty solid strike on the golf ball. My divot line's a bit more right than I want. There, weight stays on that lead side, head stays really steady. So I can consistently just sort of pump on the back of that golf ball. This is nowhere close to a full swing, but if I wanted to hit it hard from here, I definitely could. I've added a little bit of speed to that. Basically the same equation, I've made it a bit bigger, but until I can get that really consistent contact from something that's kind of small and organized, until I can get that stuff,
Yeah.
I think it's a waste to go like, hey, big swing, let's try to coordinate this.
That one, I felt just around here, I felt like I was,
Already moving off of it a little bit?
yeah.
Yeah. All good. You've seen the Tommy Fleetwood setup with all the sticks and yoga blocks. I haven't even set you up in that before. It's nice sometimes to just take one of the things that you're focused on out of the equation. Like if this ball is here and your ball is there and we have to go there, then if you disturb this at all, you probably have also almost shanked it. You should be able to get through here without disturbing the block, getting the ball clean. So we'll just keep moving it back a little bit just to kind of play off of this.
How do I avoid the block if I'm still trying to swing?
So you're not swinging that far to the right. It's
Okay.
it's a curved arc. Maybe that's a little bit, it's good to know. We're not trying to take this club and go right away from us. Eventually this thing is gonna turn.
Yeah.
We're just trying to take it and go from here and then stop at the bottom of that swing. If I was to continue, this club head would circle around me. So would my hand path. What we don't want to see from you is your hand path quickly pulling the club across your body. We want to let the club kind of finish on its length through the hit. So yes, we're trying to swing a little to the right, but we're not continuing way up to the right in the follow through. We're allowing this thing to kind of stop and circle. So if you'd like, you can kick that ball out of there and make a bunch of practice swings first, right up close to it where you would kind of take your divot. And then you can put a ball in there and then try to get it without kind of running into that. So you just skirted the edge of it.
Yeah.
And you need to get further away from it at that point in the swing. Right. Right. Good. I think 3 pretty good divots. So maybe at the same pace. Yes, you're focused on contact. Second part, don't hit the block. Really nice strike. Face was left. Very nice strike. And not a shank.
Yeah.
We like that. We like not shanks. I'm fairly good friends with Adam Hadwin. He had one of the most hilarious shanks in maybe tour history. He was on a par 3, shanked a 4-iron, which is a hard thing to do as a really good player. So on a par 3, he shanked a 4-iron. He shanks it to the right. He's a right-handed golfer. Shanks it to the right, and it hits a jumbotron picture of his face because he's playing the hole, and it says Adam Hadwin 3 under par or whatever. Hits his face and breaks a panel on there, on like his tooth or something. This is like, it looks like a missing tooth, but he literally twofold. He shanked it, made double, and then had to pay for a panel on one of those things too. Injury to insult a little bit. Horrifying shank. You never see the 4-iron shank coming out. But yeah, that was Hadwin. I can't remember what tournament that was, but it was really funny. Everybody shanks it sometimes. Nice. Very nice. So at this time of the year, season, it's first kind of week of summer sort of thing. I really try to get my players to turn their attention to these types of tasks, which are like contact oriented. The golf courses are in such good condition. The ball's going to sit so nicely for you when you deserve it in the middle of the fairways. It's your job then to take really good care of it and deal with the golf ball clean. There's no reason why we shouldn't be thinking about this as a way to kind of like take it onto the golf course and play. your ability to really line up the center of the face on the golf ball. Good.
That one was just my face was
Absolutely.
closed.
That ball started left and went way further left. So face definitely had a huge impact on its starting direction, being a little bit too closed, and definitely dynamically sort of rolled its way through there too. Good. On line to your target. Good. Would you need to hit the ball any higher than that with a pitching wedge coming into a green?
Potentially.
Okay. If you had to do that, if you had to raise it up a little bit, what would you do differently? I mean, we're pretty loaded to hit this thing low and hard. Could we get it up in the air and kind of treat the approach or the attack on the golf ball similar?
I think, is it similar to kind of the other shots we get higher? Or is it just have to more like follow through up?
Some of that. I think just setup can help you. If you go wider,
Yeah.
you're probably going to hit it higher.
Okay.
Okay? If you go wider and a little bit more forward in the stance, I think you can kind of get that idea that you want to hit down on this thing still, but I think you're going to gain a little bit of height from this thing. I'm basically kind of returning you to what looks like a little bit more of a neutral stance, but we're stealing all the elements of you figuring that, hey, listen, if I don't move a lot of things around, I'm not spinning like crazy and the club's all over the place, if I can just take this up and really influence it back onto the golf ball, the contact takes care of so much of the distance. Yeah, good. So let's hit this one up.
That one is just because I came
For sure.
forward, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can still technically, I guess, go forward without hitting the block.
So your shank also involves these like late maneuvers that you have to kind of save yourself. You know that most likely your club is shallower before it gets to the golf ball inside. It's here, your ball is there. You keep going this way and that thing keeps going that way and it's going to run itself into the golf ball. Typically players that have the opposite arrangement, so a player that does this
Yep.
over the top, typically that player starts to stand up early, extends early in their swing, and then now starts to catch it more off of the toe as a miss. So your shank is not as much you kind of going like this.
Yeah.
It's also included in the fact that this grip isn't here dropping into the golf ball, giving all that face to it. This grip is kind of dropping this way as I'm going this way, and there's not a lot of face to look at, and the club's also kind of going that direction for the most part. So we want this club to really feel like, okay, if I want to get this clean, this thing, especially a pitching wedge, has got to still be steep enough so that I can present a lot of face on the golf ball and I can exit without having to like deviate or roll the face too much.
So it's just like the grip is getting too far away
That's
from
right,
me?
right. So the grip gets far away, it gets turned, it has to do a bunch of things as you come into the golf ball. If I get this thing underneath me, then by the time I get back to impact, this grip is kind of pointing back up into me. It's pointing ahead of me and pointing back up into me. I take it to the top, this butt end still points down towards my line, and then now I can release into the golf ball. Right? If I do that, if I just take my hands on the grip, steal the whole grip at the end of this thing there, yeah, I line it up where the face is like 45 degrees, kind of a little bit of a bend there. I want to feel like I could swing this thing right at my target, right? Right? And I want to swing it like this. I want to go here, steep, down, 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 and around. Right. 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 And if I keep this angle, then I should be able to get to my moment of impact. Or I can take this handle and go this way rather than going that way with it and pulling it across.
I notice sometimes I can feel like my wrist is a little cupped, so I have to also worry on keeping it more flat, right?
Yeah, I go from just that lead wrist, I go from cupped to flat to flat as long as I can hold on to it, to a little bit of flexion if I can gain it. Right. My right one can help me too. My right one from the start of this motion, it might flex and extend, but it's not going to supinate, pronate. We're not going to do too much of this in the backswing, rolling the thumb to the inside. We're going to go a little bit more, that thumb kind of stays in front of me and it goes this way and this way. So it takes the club up and it goes back down there. The hand goes like that and then back into it this way. Way more of this than this. Less of it coming from over here and around. We want way more of up and down on top of this thing. Right. 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 If I just said to you, your hands are the club face, this tool in your hands that's just an extension, you put your hands in a position where you feel like, okay, my hands together can kind of manipulate where this face goes. So if I want this face to stay on this circle longer, if that circle's there, then I would keep this face looking in that circle a whole lot longer without having to deviate it. So it just looks like it stays shut forever and it gets above me to kind of stay shut on the golf ball. Now I can just stay ahead of it. Right. Yeah. This is a much easier way to hit a golf ball. It just requires a little bit more body strength to be able to do this. Most players that are looking for more speed kind of need to release the toe a little bit more. Good. So you want to steepen that just a little bit. That club head. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, good strike. Just caught the edge of that. Here's your 8-iron. Let's move up. Let's see how this kind of works with that. Last one's good. Like really good there.
Yeah.
Like really good there. Yeah, looks great. That's a great little move. That was nice.
It's more like on plane, right?
Yes.
I'm not dropping below or I'm not.
No. Yeah. It feels like it's, yeah. Right, you're steeping it with that wrist angle. That's really how you're accomplishing that. That was really good to kind of see that club in that spot. Same. Decent contact. At some point in your golf career, you're going to need this shot. You're going to need like, oh my God, I just got to keep it in play. Knockdown.
Yeah.
That's all I'm teaching you right now is just a knockdown golf shot. A knockdown is a little flighted, not a lot of moving around, typically comes when it's windy out, so it's stable, so you can't be flailing at it. This isn't more speed, it's like a little softer, a little lower, a little bit more control. But sometimes that becomes a very valuable shot when it's like, hey, just hit the green.
Yeah.
Like you're 130 yards out, just hit the green. Okay, well, I don't need to like hit a high draw into this or a big fade or put it way up in the air. I just need to like make sure it goes straight and kind of flies around 120 yards.
Yeah.
So that's this shot is like, can you just keep it all really square and hit this thing solid?
Actually, I was gonna ask because sometimes, you know, if you get into the trees and you can't really hit it normally, but you still have to kind of. There is still like a shot into the green. There's no obstructions.
Yeah.
Like, but you just have the height thing. How is the best way to hit like a little punch shot? I guess?
Okay. This is a cool story actually. I learned this from a 90-year-old lady. Oh, the whole bag's going down. I'm gonna grab your 6-iron here. I learned this from a 90-year-old lady, or she might have been 87, but she wasn't very. Let's just say she was in her later years. So what I learned from her was that she didn't have a lot of club head speed. She wanted to hit it higher and farther. I wanted that for her too. She didn't have enough speed really to get the ball elevated. There wasn't any spin. Without spin, the ball never leaves the air. Like it never will go anywhere. Doesn't get the golf ball working for its aerodynamics, nothing happens. So by that, if we just swing really smooth, the ball will not go in the air. We can set up a little bit differently. So closer, taller usually makes you hit it lower. If I'm playing a punch out, I don't need to grab my lowest loft 3-iron or a 3-wood or whatever. This is your 6-iron.
Yep.
If I stand up over your 6-iron, closer, taller, but I just go like super soft grip, 50% of my golf swing or 50% power, then if I think about like that 90-year-old lady, that golf ball just doesn't really go in the air. That ball's gonna go about 100 yards. It's
Yep.
gonna land like 60 or 70 yards and then release. This is your 6-iron, and that's how I would kind of play that shot out of the trees. If I move it back in my stance just a little bit, but kind of keep the same idea that I'm going soft with it, then I can kind of keep the golf ball down. The mistake that most players will make is that they will get themselves in a position where they're like, oh, I gotta punch this thing out. They'll take a club with not a lot of loft on it, they'll lean into it, and they'll really try to hit down on it hard to like keep it low. But then you just spin it, and it'll spin right away and go up into the trees and climb up. So if I can just take the speed off of this thing, then a 6-iron can kind of, like that, just this little half swing is gonna go almost 110, 20 yards on its little release. Super easy, very, very easy. You just have to trust it, trust that it's gonna go and run out. You also want a ball that runs. So if I'm swinging really smooth, there's not a lot of spin attached to that. So the ball is just gonna release and release and release and release. I can hit it thin, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really stressful.
To get it even lower, is it just ball further back?
For sure, yeah. If I want this thing to skim the deck, one, I might go to less loft. I would go to like a 5-iron or a 4-iron or something. I can put it back in my stance a little bit. I just don't want to get crazy with hitting down on this because it will start to spin. But if I can kind of punch that out around my kind of belt high, that comes out. That's just me from back in the stance, keeping the ear down. Now I've got all those windows kind of covered from that same space. That's just leaning way forward with the grip. But that's with your 6-iron. So, and we're coming off the deck here, so it looks like it's going a little bit higher, but really these are leaving pretty low, super low. Just speed. You want to take the speed off of those, and then that's going to be the big determining factor for how quickly that ball climbs. Can you take your right hand off the club just for a second and just hold the club up with your left hand? I just want to kind of go back into your grip a little bit. So just hold this club up like here somewhere. Okay, take that finger and that finger off. Nice, but hold on to it with the other 3. Yeah. When you just grab it with those 3 fingers and hold it with just those 3 fingers. You should be able to do this. If we've got in the right spot in the hand, and then the right hand is the one that I really want to check on. Because I think your right hand is loaded for you to do exactly what you keep doing, which is get that club kind of buried behind you. Okay, so here, those 3 fingers, that club is kind of parallel to me. Like I'm pulling it towards me with those 3 fingers. I'm gonna hook on and grab in like that and just hold on to those right in there. All right, so I've got that trigger finger kind of locked in. I don't wanna go this way too much. I can't really hold it up. I wanna kind of lock in there, and then that'll go that way once I get there. Okay, so that's that. We can do the whole 3-knuckle, 2-knuckle thing on that side. That's not the hand I'm worried about. It's the right one. So the right one for you, I want your fingers, these fingers, that part of your finger on the back of that grip underneath there. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah? And then wrap on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because before I was like this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm watching your right fingers almost from where I'm standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Get on top of the grip like that. Yeah. So that hand now wants to go like this immediately.
Yeah.
And then now this club head's here and it wants to go like this late in the swing. All this activity has to do a little bit with where your hand is positioned because it makes your arms move differently.
Okay. So
yeah. So 3 fingers there in that hand. That's just in the fingers. Now I can squeeze this into the palm a little bit. I kind of tighten up that area. And then once I've got that there, 2 fingers that just peek around. So I can't see my nails when I hook them on like that. And then just as I get in there, I might see my nails kind of show up a little bit. But I really want to keep it hooked in fingers and get this more on top. So when you put that right hand on, that thumb sits in the pocket right there.
Like in here?
Yeah.
But nails too much.
Yeah. So that thumb sits right in that pocket right there. There.
Okay.
So your right hand is more on top of the grip now. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so on top of the grip should do something different to the club face, I think. Should feel really weak, actually. Yeah, feels weird and weak. Make some practice swings. Just step back and make a few practice swings. So that right hand now in that position is closer to this, which should be closer to that at the moment you hit the golf ball, which means that you're not going to be able to roll this thing in nearly as much. A weaker club usually stands up a little bit higher in the backswing. Good. Still make that divot. So up, down, half a swing, bang. Yeah, that's right. Bang, nice. Yeah, good. Good. Big turn backswing. Not as much of a turn follow through. Good. Massive turn backswing. Hip, shoulder, turn. Yep.
And then.
Good. Okay. There's enough good stuff there. Let's see. See how weird this is.
I feel like when I go so far behind me,
Yeah.
I feel like almost like I have to like
turn back over top. Okay.
to get it.
Yeah.
But I guess this will be an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Let's see.
Right?
Yeah. Let's shorten it a little bit. I kind of want it to be punchy. I just want to see what you do with the club.
Okay.
And your club face.
Sure. Wait, but still go deep, or do you mean just
a little shorter?
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go as deep. Okay, but we're gonna try to keep that club on top of the golf ball, on it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Good. Really good. Okay, now hit it a little higher and a little bit to the right. A little bit of aim, a little bit of face angle. You can kind of get that face pointed a bit to the right to help you. Good. Back of the ball. Send it off into space. Okay. That little curve at the end is just you finishing the toe closing.
Okay.
And you can hold it off. You can definitely hold it off. It looks really good. You're lining up to the back of the golf ball really nice, over and over and over again. Good, but you can just push that face where you want it. Bang, right. Right, you're trying to get this to start a little right of TrackMan.
So sorry, just a recap of my right hand.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about when I grab it with these two fingers, right?
Yes.
And then I'm just kind of placing my thumb over so that way it sits into this.
Yeah. Effectively getting your right hand more on top of the grip so we can push down on the golf ball a little bit more.
Okay.
From where your right hand was starting to get to, where it was more underneath like this, it's in a position where the only way you're getting back to the golf ball is to kind of like forcefully roll your hands over. If I can put this hand a little bit more like this and this one like this, then they can work a little bit more in unison as they get to the back of the ball. Yeah, exactly.
It feels, more connected.
Yeah,
or
good. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. And it just feels like now I can swing more with my arms to close it, right?
Right. So more of your body can do it rather than your hands kind of always, loaded to sort of release that club.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, I mean, the contact is undeniable. It's really good.
Yeah.
But obviously with this grip change, the way that you were working your hand before, that you had it in a position where it was very strong and you'd get to a moment where it would release. Now we put it in a weaker position and it still wants to release. So now it's really just turning over the tail end of your ball flight. So this is where this hand doesn't go all the way like this right away. It kind of goes like that first.
Okay.
So kind of push it that way to make sure that that ball goes there, and then I get to release it kind of after.
So right now, it's just because my old way, I was so used to turning my hands over, but now I don't need to.
Right, right. So now, the more you push your hands forward, the more right the face is going to be. The more your hands kind of get neutral and stop, the more that club face is going to turn over and kind of close or roll for you, right? So we're really trying to keep that face, toe a little open to where the heel is. When you brace to hit that thing, it can't feel like the toe is passing or ahead of where that heel is. So when you just to leverage that toe, kind of hold it back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah, pretty good. Nice strike. Nice one.
Thanks. That feels more in control.
It looks more in control.
Yeah.
That's a 144-yard shot.
That's
70 miles an hour, right? You're not working crazy hard there to produce 132 carry, 144 total. And like, it's a pretty straight line.
yeah.
And not a lot of moving pieces. That's really good. I think it's really good. Smash factor is great. Yeah, that's a very good shot.
So this kind of grip change, is this going to translate to all my clubs, like driver included?
Yeah, now, like, do you want to draw your driver? Probably a little bit more. So your right hand can kind of help you. Let's just say this, you might not have the same exact grip and setup for every shot that you stand over.
Yeah.
How different a putt is from a driver, what you
Yeah.
want to do with it, you know, basically. So there's going to be like a little evolution. Would it be better for both of your hands to work in concert together? Yeah. If both your hands are kind of looking in at each other and they're kind of arranged similarly, they're going to work similarly. If you have one that's just sort of dominant, especially that trail hand, if I put that hand underneath, it's really hard for me to hit into a golf ball with one hand like this and one hand like this.
Yeah.
They don't want to do this. This forearm really wants to line up with this forearm when I go to hit something with two hands. So my extension, bang, is going to do that to my hands. And if this hand's loaded like this and it goes like that, it's going to make this hand go like this. And then now I've got like, it's going to just change everything. So I think from very early on, they always talked about like, hey, listen, nothing happens until your grip changes. I just noticed that right hand started to creep further and further underneath the grip. And it had a real influence on the first part of your swing that kind of rolled the face inside. Here, it just looks like it's a lot more stable. So,
Yeah. It feels
long answer,
more stable.
it might, but also we don't want the same things that we want from a driver that we do an 8-iron,
Yeah.
right? This is a different type of shot. This is a knockdown. You don't usually hit knockdown drivers. But super stable flight, very much online. If you get really, really good at this, this is where Tommy Fleetwood, okay, so Tommy Fleetwood's golf swing, his little 3/4 action, was built on a golf ball that he hit out of bounds on the 18th hole of a tournament and missed a cut or something. I think it was either missed a cut or missed out on making money. So he went to his coach and he's like, I don't want any of that hook again. I want solid, straight flights. I want the ball to be lower. I want it in control. They worked on this 3/4 punch thing. He hit it so good in practice over and over and over again that he looked at his coach and he's like, can I just play like this? He's like, yeah, your apexes are a little bit low, but we can tweak the equipment and we can kind of get it figured out, but that you could play like here to here sort of thing. And he does. He plays like his entire game like that. No hooks, really abrupt contact, very steep attack angles, really hits down on it, really moves ahead of the golf ball, has an incredible ability to flight the ball low. Just needs that little breakthrough on the PGA Tour to have a win. But quality player for sure. So that's all we're doing is we're just finding a really good recipe to make what should be a very simple shot pretty simple. A lot less moving pieces. Good. Good.
Yeah, it feels like I'm not doing too much.
Good.
And it just feels like I'm able to just kind of square the club face easier. Like all I'm feeling is I'm just dropping my hands, I guess, per se.
That's great, right? Like, I heard a great quote from, I think it was Byron Nelson, who said, you know, like, it was a Paul Azinger quote on TikTok, a reel or something, and I saw it. He was talking about Byron Nelson giving some advice to Hal Sutton, and he said, there are two types of successful players in the game. A player who needs to know everything and a player who needs to know very little. And he goes, both are very successful players. Both can be very successful, not really in the middle. It's like you got to know it all, or you just like a little bit. He goes, what do you think's easier? Basically what he's saying is, like the best players in the best moments, what's rattling around in their head, usually if you ask them, they come up with like either nothing or something that isn't golf swing oriented. Like I was just picturing the shot, or I was just trying to breathe, or I was trying to stay in tempo. Like they're not thinking about their hip or their hands or their shoulder or their feet, or I take it inside, then make sure I shift before I go. Like they don't think about those things. It becomes second nature. So you want to get to that position where, I think Byron Nelson was saying that, hey, listen, you got to kind of know everything about this game, but you have to get to a point where it feels like you don't really need to know much more than like, I want to go there, the wind's doing this, I'll play it a little bit to the right. It's how far? 155? Great. And immediately the shot's created in your head. Like it just happens.
Yeah.
That's this, right? Is let's strip it away and get it down to what's kind of simple here, which is let's not do too much with an 8-iron.
Yeah.
Let's just make good contact, and it's going to go 8-iron distance. And that's going to happen all the way up until we get to somewhere where we need to add a little bit more to it. More height, more speed, more spin, whatever it is. But realistically, if you hit your 8-iron like that every single time, you probably play some pretty good golf with an 8-iron. Really good. Couldn't be straighter. That's pretty good though. That pole that's in front of us there, that green from where we're standing, it's 168 in there. So from where we are, it's about probably 155 yards to that pole. I know what might be throwing it. We've got a block in its way. That was okay. 5 down, 5 inches past. 140 total on that last one. What's an 8-iron for you? 150 when you hit it good?
Before, yeah, if I was hitting it good, it'd be like 150.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So not too far off.
Yeah, not too far off. That was 77 miles an hour, 101 ball speed. But see if you can kind of tune this up a little bit. Give it a nice thump.
That one I felt like I turned. I think I almost have to trust myself that if you just hit a, you don't have to swing necessarily as hard to get it as far.
No. The center is going to rebound it about 40% faster than however fast you swing. The center is. And the further you get away from the center, that percentage just drops. So you've got 40% more ball speed off of the center. If you take 77 or 80 miles an hour and put that on there, we should be getting ball speeds into like 110. Okay.
Am I swiping across it now?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit like open face. Not significantly with the path, more that you've just got the, swing direction's a little on top. Yes.
Okay, so I still have to go back to the feeling of...
That's right, yeah. Still the feel of like getting this thing from kind of inside on the back of the golf ball, right? Creating that turn. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that was better.
Nice, buddy. Really good. Really good. Pure golf shot there. We only get the ones that aren't great. It's totally hit or miss. It must be just as you kind of come back into this, or the lighting in here, whatever it is. But it doesn't love some of the shots you've hit. The best ones you've hit.
I don't know, that I would have been curious.
I know. Okay, well, you're just going to have to hit it better or the same. Or we're going to have to move up onto some flat ground. Maybe it's just the pitch of where this guy's sitting. Yeah, it'll read that one, of course. Yeah, why not? Okay, well, that's a good spot to hit from, I guess. Still, that's 143 on a miss hit.
Yeah.
It looks really good. If you take like, since the grip change, and since you kind of thinking a little bit about like where you want to come from, no shanks, and I'm not like cursing you, no shanks, lots of golf balls that start on line. Not a lot of curve to the ball. few misses that are a little bit right.
Yeah.
Not a bad pattern. Oh, flushed. Hey, we got one. Finally. 75.7, sounded great. 106 ball speed, there you go, 141 carry. Looks like that one hung a little bit. You hit a couple that were better than that, but we're almost at 150 total yards, and you're swinging at 76 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't know what I was swinging at before to get it that distance, but this feels a lot more in control. And
It almost doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like the ball speed is where you want to be consistent.
yeah,
And if you're able to swing to get that ball speed to like around, 106 to 110, you're going to have 140 to 150 yards of carry. If you're doing it at 82 or 83 miles an hour, but once in a while hitting that number and then a bunch of times hitting like 90 ball speed, that's where the inconsistency is.
yeah,
So today when you said, hey, let's do some irons, then immediately I want to evaluate your ability to just strike the ball clean, pure,
yeah,
like simple. Like, hey, hit it solid 5 times.
Yep.
If you can't, we have to find a way that can happen, because nothing's going to be good about this unless you're hitting the ball like really solid.
yep.
I think you're starting to hit it solid. So I like that. Let's do this with a 6-iron. And let's see how much of this we have to change, if we need to adapt to create a little bit of height, what we would do differently, say with a 5-iron or a hybrid. That might be a good conversation too.
Because before,
Yeah.
we were talking about when we're first starting out,
Yeah.
I want to feel like fading the 5-iron, get some more height
Sure.
and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
But I guess we could just see where this.
Yeah, let's see how this comes out, right? Like there's a bit of a tipping point where I can't just smash down on everything, right? But I could definitely do it a bit more with an 8-iron or a wedge. So worst case scenario, if that wasn't the best shot you've ever hit with the 6-iron, worst case scenario, that golf ball went 177 yards in a pretty straight line.
Yeah.
So that's a miss. Wasn't hit the best you've ever hit it,
No.
but it's a pretty decent shot. $80 miles an hour, 116 ball speed, 178, 165 carry.
Similar totals, it just
Yeah.
hung in the air more.
Smash factor is 144. Pretty darn solid. Your height is almost 70 feet, 66 feet. Your land angle is just shy of 40 degrees. It'd be nice if we steepened it, but I'm gonna take contact over everything right now. It's an interesting and pleasing pattern from that grip
Yeah.
of how that club face has just stayed kind of open. And when you wipe it a bit, you don't quite get it. It just goes a bit to the right, but you don't lose much on it. A very good player miss is that like short right, didn't quite get it all, but I have it in front of the green and I can kind of deal with it. Unless we're playing 12 at Augusta, then there's a place to miss it a little left and long for sure.
So that is just because it's still a bit too open.
Sure.
Right?
But are you like,
No.
are you unhappy with those shots?
No.
I think they're okay. Like, could you really like square it up and put it in there? Yeah, I'm sure you could. But you're pretty close on those 3 shots to hitting like 180-yard 6-irons at very simple mechanics. And then you flush one. Like flush one. Good swing, buddy. 83 miles an hour, add a little bit of speed to it. Ball speed 117, there's your 182, but more carry, more spin.
Yeah.
So getting there a little bit more like a real 6-iron.
Yeah.
Do you have to change anything?
No.
That's a pretty great shot. At 63 feet, landing at shy of where you'd love it.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if you could get this to be 44 to 50 degrees of steepness in this land angle. But I'm more like, hey, just keep pumping the ball solid off of the face over and over and over and over and over again, and then figure out how you can like just make it go a little bit higher.
Yep.
But like keep the contact
Yep.
and keep this idea really simple.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly has changed the dispersion of shots that you were kind of hitting previously.
Yep. I know, because I'm feeling, well, for the good one that I hit, my feeling was just hit inside the ball.
Sure.
And
yeah, sure. Yeah. There's a moment when your club hits the golf ball that the ball kind of stays on the face, and it's like I think it's less than a millisecond, and then it's gone. So it's like a pong paddle. Like if I hit this thing like this, I can't change it after I'm done. I'm not going to be able to manipulate it. It's already off the face. It's doing its thing. If I hit it with spin, it's already spinning. There's no like, I can't save anything after it. So really my job is to just line up this hammer to nail.
Yeah.
Bang. And then that is gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. You've already imparted everything on it. So I hope today gets you feeling like half of the golf swing is you're way more responsible for. Here to there. And if I do that, great. It almost doesn't matter what happens after.
I think it's almost like counterintuitive before, because I feel like since before I used to think that I'm getting too far stuck behind. If my thought is to hit inside, then I'm going to get more behind. So I guess it's kind of just rewiring my brain that I can still not feel stuck.
That's right.
But still hit inside.
I think everybody goes like, if I said, hey, swing more to the right, or swing more to the right out and away from you, I think the first instinct is to go, oh, okay, and go like this and put the club behind you.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're not swinging in outer space to nothing and then I can just throw it out and away from me. This is me when swinging inside now. I don't have access to that golf ball anymore unless I put it back up on plane. And if I do it from in here, I'm really gonna miss the contact. If I change my path, then I'm really kind of going over the top. So the first thing that happens is I really now have like screwed myself.
Yeah.
Really what I should be doing is going, oh, you want me to hit more to the inside of this golf ball here? Okay, well, I don't really care where this goes. And then now I'm gonna go to the inside of the golf ball. Now I'm gonna like take this club and put it where I wanna put it on the golf ball. Way more, right? Way more than it's like it starts early in the backswing.
Yeah, because I can just still go all the way out here, whatever, and then...
Sure. This is how George Gankis builds really powerful golf swings. This is Matt Wolf. This is also Lee Trevino back in the day. Guys that did this. They took the club, they went up this way because they acquire more leverage, speed, and gravity, and then they bring it onto the back of the golf ball from out there. You see some guys kind of go this way a little bit, not much. You see a lot of guys that take the club really vertical and then drop it. That would be like Rory too. Kind of takes it up on top of the ball and then really pulls down on it hard. For what we're doing, it's just pretty simple. We're just kind of keeping this thing attached to your turn, feeling like you're just slamming the club down on the back of the ball. Yeah, pretty good. A little scruffy in terms of contact. Is it a terrible shot? It definitely isn't. TrackMan.
It's just one of those ones just I need to get more on my front, right?
Sure. But you could also, you may not have hit it all great, but it's online. It's probably up around the front edge of the green, or maybe it rolls through because it doesn't have the spin on it, but it's a pretty good golf shot for sure. What else? How do you feel so far?
I'm feeling good. It's just going to take, I think, a lot more reps.
Yeah.
I think to just rewire.
What we did early with a pitching wedge or a sand wedge or something is a really good way to do it, because you don't need much to kind of almost get full potential, full distance off of the ball speed that you can acquire on such a little arranged hit. It's like, try to hit it 30 yards and the ball goes 60 and you're like, whoa, how? I'm trying to go shorter. So really, if we can do that more with the shorter club, then what we did was probably the best way to get there, which is we do it kind of pitching wedges, get you kind of feeling like, okay, I can do this. Do it with an 8-iron, see if anything changes. It didn't really. Do it with a 6-iron. It didn't really change there. You can pretty much keep your iron game like this, right?
So that'll conclude this video. Hopefully you found it insightful. I think one of the reasons for a blow-up hole is you're hitting the ball all over the place. So I'm happy that after this lesson, I'm able to control my irons a lot better, hit straighter, more consistent shots. So hopefully that will bring down some of my scores. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.